oh, well, tell me about this and why do you say that? Like, that's not my point.
There isn't enough time, and I don't have enough time to tell you the story. I'm telling you, but I get it.
It's DJ KeauxBruh, Slick Strike Wicked, your once in this home. Right now, we going into the segment, Real Talk with Jayson, Dixon. Jay, what's up, bro?
What's going on, Cap? We here today, guys. Man, I want y'all to hear this story. I met these two beautiful people, Jesus Christ and Mary. I met them in a situation that I'm coming out of. I don't really want to get into that because I don't want to take away from what they're about ready to share with you today, guys. I basically brought them in because it's a feel-good story that, hey, if I needed to hear it, I feel like somebody else needed to hear it. I feel like you guys were brought into my path for me to further my belief, not to take away from it. And I really wanted you guys to tell your story, tell who you are. Like I said, I tried to explain to my man this morning, and I was like, I don't even know what else to tell you other than let me bring him in and talk about the story. So I would love for you guys to introduce yourselves, and let's get started.
Hey, sweet, thanks. Well, I am Jesus Christ, Messiah. As far as, well, really, the story goes, you want to hear the story of our mission?
Well, first, let's talk about who you guys are. Let's introduce yourselves, and then I want to get into the story of the mission that you're on.
Jesus Christ, Messiah.
Okay.
And I am Mary Christ.
Okay.
And we just really appreciate the opportunity.
No.
So thank you very much
You're
for
very
putting it
welcome.
in front of us and
You're
giving
very
us.
welcome. Hey, I appreciate the opportunity for you guys to be here as well. Because like I said, like you heard me tell my crowd, I met you guys, and I think the first night I saw you guys, I couldn't stop staring. I couldn't stop seeing what you guys were doing just in the parking lot of where we're at. And then from there, we started to have conversations. You told me your story, told me about your journey. But I don't want to talk about that. I want you to talk about that, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Because me telling it, I'm going to miss some things, I'm going to say some things wrong, and I don't want to get into that. But I want the people to know about your mission and how the mission started. Let's start out with first your journey to meet her.
For sure.
And then from there, the mission you guys took on. Let's end with that, if that works with you.
Yeah, so myself, I was actually, I had been homeless for quite a few months. Made my travels into, we're from Chico, California.
Okay.
That's where I met my wife. Made my journey along working the cities and towns north of California down to, I stayed in a place called Oroville. Did a lot of work there. That place was called, the people on the streets that I had heard, they called it Bedrock.
Okay.
And I didn't quite understand it until I actually lived and, was a part of it with the people that were on the streets there. This is before I met my wife. Really rough place, man. Oroville.
Yeah, we talked about some of our mutual journeys of being being on the streets and understanding the street life. Like, that's what bonded us really close.
For sure.
Understanding where I come from and the homelessness. So being out there and knowing who you are, like, how did that affect you at first compared to where you are now?
Truly, it shattered my heart more than anything. I saw a lot of hurted people, and I was hurting myself. The things that I had experienced in my life, these are the things you can't control. The teeters.
No problem.
I would have swore that I would have
Sure.
never been like this today. And I told myself this, that I felt good, and I guess that's the power of PTS.
Yes.
I don't like to call it PTSD because the word disease just doesn't sit well with me. But
Right.
post-traumatic stress from trauma is definitely there, and I experienced a lot of it with myself and with the people that I encountered. And really my job, what I was doing was, number one, carrying the light and bringing the light into a world that seems to be very dark.
Okay.
And I've seen my share of it, and nothing to take away from another, because I know I've got brothers and sisters all around this world that have their own shoes that they've walked in. and they have their own story, and I wouldn't take from that. I don't know what their life is, and I'm not going to sit here and say that my life's been harder than yours or anybody else's. My life is my life, and I just want people to understand that I come in love. Being homeless was really, really hard.
I totally agree with you. You know my story, and I've been on the streets, and most people who know me, they know my story. I've been on my own since I was 13. So I understand the walk and to see people, but still have that heart to help. So with you going through everything you were going through, the story that really intrigued me was your heart to still say, hey, I want to help. Knowing that you weren't in the best position, like, how do you do that when you're not always in the best place?
I can tell you, obviously I have a family. I don't talk to them. They're not in my life, but if I truly think about it in today's perspective, I would have to, in so many ways and so many graces, thank the people that have been in my life because of my experiences that I have encountered from, and whether right or wrong or should have or shouldn't have happened, it happened. But it made me and helped me develop who I am today.
Right.
And with those experiences, I do believe that it was a piece of structure within the communities and the people, humanity that I was dealing with, because I could truly relate and understand. Now, whether that was the purpose of my life and why, the things that I went through, that I don't know.
Okay.
And I don't really care to know, because the past yet can be powerful and great with things that you've experienced, but it also can be very detrimental. Focusing on that, and we do as individuals, we need to be able to heal. This is what I'm good at. This is what I do. If one wants to know about me and my life as Jesus Christ, whether one believes or not, and hopefully they do believe, is that I truly come in peace and I come in love. And I come with a compassion, an amount of compassion that I think overwhelms people.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of people scared of my light. I told you a story about where I was, and the homeless communities, things that I did, they wouldn't have accepted me in to the places that I was, and I'm telling you, it was really bad. Like, I had the people that were living on these streets, they were angry. They wanted to create violence and go after these people that, whether it's city officials, government,
Right.
the law enforcement. And I think, and I know because I had people telling me this, that because I showed up, I stopped it.
Right.
But I didn't stop it. They stopped it because
Right.
they made the choice to not to.
To not to.
Along my journey, I had a lot of people trying to hurt me, a lot of really bad things, and I turned the other cheek every time.
And how did that make you feel? Because I know me, like I'm a very soft-hearted person. For the people that know me, like I'm quick to walk away from violence. I'm quick to be like, hey, as long as you stay over there, you can say whatever you want. How do you deal with that when you're in who you are, and you're in a community where they have a right to be mad, they have a right to be upset, right? They have a right to be hurt, even if they caused their problem. To feel, I know how I felt when I was out there and I was homeless, and I felt like no matter if I caused it or not, I shouldn't be here. So like you said, a lot of violence. How did you deal with that? How did you walk into those communities? I know you told me a lot of stories about the violence and how they wanted to fight you and how they wanted to hurt you, but I want you to tell my people, our audience, the story as well, so that they can understand that sometimes trying to be the better person doesn't always end with good results.
Well, I was telling you, it wasn't, too long ago. I was up on Las Vegas Boulevard with my wife, and we were out on the strip walking on one side of the boulevard, and I was going around to people, my wife and I, and we were just sharing the word of God, love, and that I am Jesus Christ, this is my wife. And I told you I had, this group, and one guy decided he was going to punch. As far as I know, my wife had seen it, and that experience, I can tell you about that one. That was heartbreaking, heart-shattering for me. I couldn't understand it. When really, this guy that punched me, he wasn't there anymore. He I don't know what happened. He took off. He got lost in the crowd. If he ran, I don't know what happened, but all I really wanted to do at that time was just hug him.
Right.
I don't know what made him so angry to want to do that. When I've known you for a short time, Jayson, and I don't think you've ever felt one grain of salt of that from me.
When we've talked multiple times over and over again, and I'm like, not one time did I think a violent move. It
Exactly.
was like, I want to hear more.
and that's what I'm trying to say, and I don't fully understand the purpose and meaning behind what took place.
Right.
I shared tears from it. I got angry.
Right.
I was upset. Number one, my wife got hit as well, got punched, but that's just one little speck, and that's being homeless in Vegas, right? My wife and I have our truck, and we live out of our truck. We've devoted everything that we are to this mission,
Right.
and the mission was for the people. And you want to talk about sacrifice.
And that was my next question. So before we get into the mission, because I know you're itching,
Yeah.
I want to hold that off because I think that's the part that really intrigued me. But the fact that you guys, I was just telling Kat this morning, I said, well, he actually said it after I told him, I said, they gave up everything to go toward this mission. I don't even know pastors that would say, I'll give up everything I got. I said, and I'm just honest. I was like, if Jesus came to them today and said, give up everything and follow me, pastor will be like, let me go talk to my brother over here and
Right.
move the money in his name.
Right.
But see, here's the thing. It's not just about the resources we put into it. It's the time, the heart. Like I've told you many times, we're always in the right place, right time,
Yep.
every time.
Yeah.
So that could be as simple as being in the pool at the right time where someone's angry and just needs a hug or needs to hear that they're loved, or going to grab a quick bite, and all the people that see our message on our truck, which is all glory to God. It's the people that see us, but also the people that interact with us.
Yes.
And there's been many times that we have done, 30 hours at a time, not sleeping, 4 or 5 states in one day, just because of the urgency of people realizing that we are here, Jesus and Mary are here, we have walked our lives, we have blended in, and now we are available. And
Right.
and that's the thing. I mean, we had a trailer and it made us 70 feet. This is construction grade reflective tape. You cannot miss the message. It could be darkest dark and the tiniest little glimpse
Right.
of light comes through and that thing screams at you. Screams that Jesus loves you, love God, all glory to God, Jesus Christ lives. And still, even with the message and us inside of it, people either fear it, and I can't blame people for fearing it, because a lot of the people who say they're devoted to God say, you're a sinner, you're going to, Hell, and they put pressure on people instead of coming at them with love.
What is that? Hell?
Yes.
Well, then say
yes.
it.
Yes.
Say it.
Yes. So, it's.
I'm like, yeah, I was like,
Yes.
you can say
yes.
hell.
Yes. So for me, it's one of those things of I know what the typical missionaries have done, and I'm grateful for the word that they speak, but I don't agree with.
But something you
how-
said to me last night was real powerful to me, and that's what made me want to do this. When you said last night that you guys started your mission, you created a GoFundMe, And even churches were like, hey, if I can't get our name on there as sponsors, if you don't want to do this, then we will not sponsor you. When that is baffling to me, because like we talked about, and I'm honest about my belief, like I said, it's all enrolled in my business. People around me know what I'm about. They know that I'm going to walk in this mission. Not saying I'm perfect, not saying I'm anything, but if you're a church in my eyes, and I got two people that are like, look, we're about to make this journey to get as many believers as we can, why wouldn't I want to invest in you? Why wouldn't I want to say here? Because in this generation, I'm adamant and I'm big on, I built, like I told you guys last night, I built a bunch of churches and helped churches build, and the reason I walked away from those churches was because when I mentioned to them, you want to build your congregation? Then get in the communities and help the communities. Get out there, and those people that need plumbing or stairs fixed or something like that, get out there and help them clean their yard. Those elderly that can't move around, those people that are in poor neighborhoods, get out there and help them. So to hear your story and for you to verify what you didn't even know I already knew, that's where I want to kind of get into that. How did that make you feel when the churches said no?
Well, let me tell you. Many churches, and we've done the Bible Belt. We've done it all, and they have my husband's name on them, and they claim that they speak the word of Jesus Christ and God, and that's part of my frustration, because we have shown up to many services, and our light, you either see it or you don't, but your soul recognizes, and that's what people need to know about the message. I don't really care about the ego and personality. Right. That's not what I'm here to change. I'm here to get into the soul, in which I know very well up in my realm.
Right.
So
I have something to say on that.
Go ahead.
The light. She talked about the light. The light will always be seen. There is not one that misses the light. Let me explain why. You take this room and you turn every light off, and you make this room dark and black as can be, okay? Can't see your hand in front of your face. And anywhere in this room, if I walk away from you across to the other side and I light one match and I hold that match up, you're going to see that match? You're going to see that light?
Every time.
Every time. Doesn't matter how big the room.
Yep.
You understand?
Yeah.
It's the same concept with our reflective tape on the truck. Is when I talk about sacrifice, this is what it leads into, is Jesus Christ, man. I would think that people would want to be in my life somehow, some way. The greatest gift that I can give to another is my presence. You take that very well. You'll stand and talk to me, and I'm telling you, there's not a lot that get the time, whether they choose to not take it. Sometimes I get busy, I understand, but I'm willing to give the time. And my presence of being in front and giving myself to the people is the greatest thing that I can give. It's not physical, it's not something that tangible, money,
Right.
Doesn't matter. Those things, I know a lot of people, we all go through our hard times, and of course, or whatever. I mean, you can be going through the good times and still be getting those things and help and having the abundance.
Right.
I've created and I've lived my life. When I met my wife, that story of going into that, literally, I mean, I met her in the town. I was homeless in the community. I was working that community and serving while I was homeless, bringing food to the people, helping to go serve the same homeless people that I was camped with. Very beneficial and rewarding for me, because it filled my heart full of love.
Right.
I didn't do it for, and like I said, I don't run around. My wife likes to tell people who I am. She's the
messenger.
It's my honor and privilege, let me tell you.
And for me, it's more of just, hey, man, I just get to be with the people. I get to be amongst, whether it's doing anything. Like I said, going to a football game, going to a baseball game. A lot of people like to speak on the things that I wouldn't do, that Jesus doesn't do, and it's, I don't understand it, but whatever, speak your truth, say what you want to say. I might share tears on it sometime in my life. I do take these things. I feel humanity. I feel the weight of the world and people, and a lot of energy. I don't know how else to really explain it. I know there's spiritual people. You don't have to be spiritual to be an energy, but it's energy.
Okay.
You ever walked into a place? Are we good on time?
Yeah.
You ever walked into a
this.
place though, and you go from outside to, let's say, inside a building, and you feel this shift or magnetic.
Yeah.
You felt it with people. I remember we talked about that last night.
Yes. Where you feel like no matter what this person say to you, the energy just doesn't match, and it's like I can't be near you. I can't. And I told you that about certain people that were around where we were, and I was just like, no matter how much people try to get me to get along, you have that energy to say, no, there's something wrong. There's something wrong there. And maybe some people feel it with me as well, because I'm standoffish, and I'm that person that's like, hey, if you're not in my circle, I'm not really trying to talk, like what we talked about last night. And my circle, they'll tell you I'm so much of a loner that it takes them to drag me out and say, hey, get out of that room, come do this, we got stuff to do, let's get to work. Cap calls me every morning like, hey, we got work to do. And I'm like, okay, but I got to do this. And he's like, bro, get out of that room. Come up to the office. We can work here. We can be around people. So when I met you guys, what I loved and what I told you last night was we had a full conversation that never blinked. Like, we talked for hours. And if you guys don't understand, like, we talked for at least an hour and 30 minutes and just looked at each other and went back and forth and never flinched, never blinked, never. And the stuff that you were telling me, the mission, which I want to get into after we come back from this break, I really want to get into the mission part. But I want to get into, before we do that, I really want to get into the journey of you meeting her. Okay. Which led to what you guys are walking on now. Okay? Yeah. So guys, thank you. We're going to take this small break. Cap, take us out.
DJ KeauxBruh with Jayson, Dixon. We will be back.
All right, appreciate it. Give us about 2-3 minutes.
Cool. So you have people that are watching this right now?
Yeah. I got 105 people right now.
They're listening.
Heck yeah.
Like, that's why I said the story. It's the story. And I understand that's the part that hit me the most, was the story. And who you guys are, and then for you to feel free enough to go around, no matter the anger, the pain, the heartache, because I tell everybody, when you walk with God, when you walk in this life, when you are who you are, you're gonna go through what you say you've been through. But a lot of people have been through that and they shut it out and they don't talk about it. They'll get bullied or they'll get told. It's a kid that asked me to manage him on TikTok. He's a Christian artist. He's only 12 and he's really good. But his songs are about, I'd rather sit by myself than to deal with another kid who wants to go out here and drink and run the streets and not listen to his mom. And the kids are like, oh, your music sucks, but he's really good. But it's stories like that that I try to incorporate in what I talk with Real Talk with Jayson Dixon, because like I told Cap, I said, great, we talked to all these business people, but I have a feel-good story right now. And I really want that feel-good story because I got 105 likes in less than 5 minutes of going live. So that means they're listening, and people keep trying. You see me touching it because they keep trying to chime in.
Oh, really?
Be part of the live.
So what you don't know is when he was working the homeless community, I was also serving the homeless community. But I had the pink poster board that said, all glory to God. God changed his life. Without love, we are nothing.
You should wait to say this because we're on break.
We're on break right now.
No. I understand.
I
understand, and I'm telling you because you did not know this about me. And my biggest thing is I want people to know it doesn't cost hundreds of dollars in reflective tape, and boy, we spent thousands on it. Believe me.
And that's what I want them to know, because I've been on mission travels over to Ghana, to things like that, in the name of God, as they tried to tell me. But once we got over there, my whole thing about when it comes, whenever you're ready, just let me know. Whenever we got over there, it was like I saw that, hey, this wasn't about God. This was about you. This was about the church. This was about making your church look bigger than what it is. And then as I started helping build churches, I would go and bring people to the church who was in need. And the church would be like, whoa, we got to look at our members and the people who give money. And I'm like, but if the purpose of God is to help those in need, whether you gave $1,000, whether I gave $0, if I need it and you don't, you should help. And nowadays, a lot of churches don't do that.
Could you imagine God closing the door on you and telling you you're not a member, you're not welcome?
And I'm telling
Could you imagine that?
No,
we have experienced that. And when I looked at the pastor and he would not let me get to his people, he said, your people are not here. And I said, you do know when they realize that you, who has put themselves in
a leadership position.
But not just leadership, you're putting yourself before a person and God. Right. You're literally putting yourself in between. I said, bro, you know that when they find out you're not speaking of our return, they're going to be angry and they're going to come after you. And he looked at me and said, I know.
Ready?
We're back with Real Talk. Jayson, Dixon. We have Jesus and Mary Christ together. Jayson, take it away.
Hey everybody, thank you for coming back. Thank you for the break. I just want to let you guys know this is a real conversation. I know y'all used to me talking to business owners and things like that, but this was a feel-good story that I thought somebody out here needed to hear. And I told you guys that last night, so I'm so grateful for you guys coming out. I really thought this was something that somebody's going to get a message. Somebody's going to get an inspiration based on what you guys are doing, the travels, the conversations. And I'm hoping that we can bring some people to God today, because now we live in a generation where they preach. And I'm so honest about this part. Everybody preaches God because they created an illusion that there's multiple. But nobody really talks about Jesus Christ when that should be our focus, right? Because of the fact that he's our way to where we want to get to. And once those doors are open, a lot of people do not advocate that or come into that aspect. Because we live in a realm where we're told that, oh, well, there's a God over here and there's a God over there. And we live in a state of confusion. So I kind of want to jump into your mission, how you guys met, and I want to jump into the mission that you guys have been on, if you don't mind.
For sure.
So for what you just said about people not speaking Jesus and those things, and I get a lot of people that quote the Bible, and the one that I always refer them back to is, you don't go to God without going through Jesus. And the fact is Jesus is God. Jesus is the earthly form of the beautiful, amazing God that he is. And I am so blessed to be a witness of the things that I have experienced with Jesus Christ. And there's so many great things and so many great times, but also hearing the sadness of a man, Jesus Christ, who people know loves all, and going through this world and not feeling wanted, loved, and the sadness that it brings, the King of Kings, the one and true. It has been heartbreaking at the same time, because like my husband mentioned earlier, he makes himself available and doesn't understand why people don't want to gravitate towards us.
Right.
But I can assure you, the people that are connected and can see and want to be a part, make sure that they're before us, make sure that they take the time to chase us down on the freeway, to wave like the biggest fans, in which everyone says they love God, they want to love God, that they give their whole life to God, and God's in front of them, and they, for whatever reason, do not want to share the gratitude of what his Spirit, our spirits, have done for them. Because everybody needs to remember that the breath of life is a true gift, and is the first gift of the day, whatever time they wake up.
Well, I truly believe that there are people that can't, that don't want to, and then you have the ones that don't know how.
Right.
So, and there might be even more than that, but I think those three sum it up greatly. I choose to pull myself out of it and not judge. I take the time that I have, and I give it graciously. I give everything that I am, whether that's in the need of helping another in some form or fashion, money, material, giving water, food, or just truly my presence.
Right.
You understand?
And sometimes that's all that people need.
I mean, you understand, like,
honest.
you think of this concept and person, and I've met somebody that's told me they're Satan. And this man that said he was Satan didn't have nice things to say to me. Like, truly, we shared in love, we shared a hug, we had a great hug, but some of the words that come out of his mouth towards me and what he wanted to do was not, it's okay, it was not okay.
Right.
I cried and I wept over that whole situation, because I think what I truly felt was the agonizing pain of Satan, the sadness. Now, whether it's real, whether it's fake, I'm not going to judge that.
Right.
I don't want to sit and judge that person that is in front of me when, like I talked to you yesterday, the one thing that we as humanity, as individuals, when you're speaking to somebody, yes, we judge. We have a mind, we have a brain, we have our own belief systems and our own emotions inside. But the one thing that you don't feel is you're not feeling the emotions I'm feeling right now. I just broke down and cried while my wife was talking.
Right.
It's uncontrollable. As much as I say, oh,
I've seen you do that a lot.
Well,
As
I
we
do.
talk.
I do.
And I like that, because that means that what you're saying is real. A lot of people can talk about God or talk about what he's done for them or talk about Jesus and how they walk in the light, but you never see that emotion. It's almost like it's rehearsed.
But at the same time, you don't know if they've cried themselves to sleep and they truly, got it out and they're now able to
so
talk.
It's not a judgmental, it's just saying that I see it a lot. And a lot of people's emotions don't match up with the words coming out of their mouth. And it's not because I'm trying to look and see, well, do you really mean it or anything like that. But when I tell my story, you see my passion. You see, a lot of people tell me all the time, my talk show's a hit because of the fact that people can feel the passion that I have when it comes down to it. I'm sorry, they just keep trying to join.
That's all right. Let them join.
I can't.
Welcome. Come
It'll
in.
knock off the...
Oh, will it?
That's the whole, because they want to talk and they won't be able to be heard through our real show that we're doing right now.
I see.
So they're just on my live right now. But to me, my passion is about understanding the story, figuring out what a person's passion is. Like I told you guys when I introduced myself, I build companies for a living, so I have to hear people's stories every day.
Cool.
I have to know what your goal is every day. So when I heard your story, even though you may not look at it, my mind processes like they're on a mission. So they're basically building a business. It's just their business isn't your typical business. It's not what anyone would perceive. It's not saying I want to build a church. It's saying that we're on a mission to gather followers. We're on a mission to gather believers.
And if you could sum that business word in one word, what would you call it now that you've met me? What word? One word.
I'll say Jesus.
Okay, I'm going to tell you the word is love.
Love. Oh, yeah.
Okay, which is the same thing. If you read the back of my truck, it says love God.
Yes.
Now, you can take that how you want. Somebody pulling up on that, it might be me, maybe I had to make a right-hand turn and cut a car off, right? Love God, I'm on my business.
Yeah.
I can't explain to people enough that when I'm pulled to do something, the pathway needs to be clear. I need to be able to go do my work. I work 24/7.
Yes.
Even when I'm sleeping, I'm working. I know it's hard, and I don't really care to explain
I understand it.
But what I can tell you is I know there's people in the world that they go to sleep and they dream about their work that they do. And it's tiring and exhausting, I promise you.
I raised my hand.
So for me and my wife to be able to stay in a place and have, we've got air conditioning right now, and by the graces of family that has helped or whoever's helped, and how we've got our means to do what we do, we're just so grateful. And if I can do anything at this moment in this day, what I would truly say to the people of the past and the ones that have been in my life, I love you. I love you. No judgment. I forgive. Please forgive me. There's a word that's out there. It's called Ho'oponopono. Have you ever heard of it?
No. I was just about to ask you.
Ho'oponopono, and really what it is you're doing your best to cut the ties. And people can look it up. It's a great term to live by. There's actually a YouTube video on trying to help cut the cords of things that are really weighting you down.
Mm-hmm.
And it
I think
helps.
a lot of pastors are kind of touching that today as well. So I think a lot more people understand that, because I know I do. I know that a lot of my guilt from being a foster kid and helping people back over the years have held me from being the best that I could be, because I feel like if I don't help because of the people who helped me, if I don't help, then I'm worse than the people that try to hurt me, because of the fact that if I see somebody and I just be like, oh, well, let me not see that. Well, somebody could have did that to me. And I think I saw a couple pastors talking about the chains that are invisibly attached to us, that we feel like we're tied to these people. I think I told you guys about my cousins who I felt like, I gotta help you. I gotta help you.
Of course.
But as I started to see, like, no, I gotta let this go, because I'm trying to go this way and you're steady pulling me back. And I think a lot of people, and that's why I said I think that this message is big to me, because a lot of people are caught in those scenarios, caught in that same turnabout, and they don't understand. And they don't understand how to cut those ties. So I want to kind of jump into, because I don't want to run out of time here, I want to jump into the mission and you meeting your wife and how y'all took this journey, because that was like an unbelievable story to me. And I'm not going to lie to you, I was just like, they sold their house. Like, Jayson, would you have done that? Like, they did this. Like, would you have done that? Like, I had to ask myself.
Well, you know what? Go ahead.
Well, bro, literally, I had Jesus Christ in front of me, who was homeless, came to me with a backpack. I had a home that was paid for by my family, completely paid off. I was so grateful and full of gratitude for what I have been given. But here I had Jesus Christ. And I always say I give it all to God. And I had Jesus Christ, who was homeless. And when I realized that the funding was not coming in, and at that point we had done 10 states. We had done so many miles. No funding was coming in. I said, I don't want to have to sell our home. The mission is too grand. It needs to happen. It has to go now. And luckily, the home was worth money. I was from a college town. Right. So that money funded the first probably 200,000 miles we had done around the country. But again, it was Jesus Christ who came to me with nothing. I had everything. And both of us chose that the mission was so important. And the mission isn't just about the miles. The mission is about the people. We don't ask people to follow, because we know how important it is for people to just know. To know that the churches are not speaking of our return because they're still making money on the love of God. When we come freely with hugs, the touch of God. We come with the light of God. We come with true intentions for people to just get the message. And I believe with all of my heart that every single person that hears Jesus Christ, sees us, knows their job now and their only sole purpose is to be a messenger. Right. Scream it. Like I was telling you during break. I already had poster board, the pink dollar poster board, right, that just said God changes lives. Love God. And without love we are nothing. Right. And all glory to God. I mean, really. And I expected, when I had these signs on my car, I was like, boy, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and everyone's going to have it on their car. Everyone's going to be so excited to put their faith outside. Right. But so many people internalize it. So many people make it a personal thing of, I pray over here, or I do this over here, when really all we want is for people to scream that God is love. And that to me, to wake up every single day with my big signs and I'm driving around town, doing as many miles as I can possibly do, putting myself in a position where I was working for God so they could see that the message wasn't just a word, that I was working to show people that it's so simple, just put it on your car. Because where your car is, doesn't matter what you're doing, your message is out.
Right.
You don't need to stop and talk to people if you don't want to.
Right.
Let the words that are on your car hit people to where it hits them in the core.
Right.
And a lot of times when we're driving, people will speed past us. And, at first I'm like, man, maybe something's going on with them. They don't want to see the light. But really, I don't know if they're in the middle of a super trance saying, love God, love God. I'm like, God, you just never know what word is going to hit the soul the best or to what part of their being. And then it's up to each individual to connect with their soul and their ego and personality, which has grown way too big for this world.
Right.
Because God is the only thing that matters.
Well, here's the thing. Regardless of my life, right? I've been pushed to the streets. I've had doors shut in front of me and locked on any form or fashion, whatever family, friends, whatever, man, whatever. And what I have to truly say is, even though those things happened, it got me to the people. My wife and I could have stayed in our home. We could have created
a church.
Well, no, we could have just created our own personal. We didn't even. I was so shattered and broken when I met her. You wouldn't even believe it. There wasn't one night I didn't weep being homeless.
Right.
I had people that were around me, and I apologized the next day, saying, "I'm sorry if you all heard because it was loud. It was
Really?
Uncontrollable." That's why my story, brother. I can't really tell my story yet. I can tell you pieces.
Right.
The story needs to come out sometime.
Right.
And it will be something that will be talked about for eons and eons and eons. You know what an eon is?
Mm-hmm.
Billions of years. And it needs to happen. And it's not just on this earth plane. It goes to the realms of the spirit. I am the bridge between the earthly realms and the spirit realms. That's what I do. I can't explain it to another, nor do I care to or want to explain it. A lot of people want to try and understand and figure it out. And, well, if you want to welcome that and you want to bring that into your own personal, I wish you well.
Right.
Good luck. It's not easy. It's not easy for me. I've wept 3 times here at this table.
And it's okay.
When I met my wife, brother, so I'll tell you, when I landed in Chico, I went from Oroville. And Oroville was a place that I called the Twilight Zone.
Okay.
I'd never seen things like I had seen in that town. The darkness. I had a man sitting next to me at a park bench. He just randomly showed up, sat down on this park bench. I haven't met my wife yet. And I'm with another guy that I walked around and spent time with. I spent a lot of time with this guy. He really needed it. But this guy started chanting devil chant, like seance stuff in my ear. And so rather than shutting him up or saying, please don't do that, go somewhere else, I do my spirit work and I talk in spirit. And I'm telling this guy, I'm showering him with love, bro. I mean, pounding him in spirit. So greatly that he comes out of his whatever he's in. He's under some control.
Sure. Yeah.
And he stops and he says, will you just stop? And I stopped and I looked at him and he goes, you're killing me with this love. And that's all I was doing, was showering him with love. And it was hitting him. I didn't have to say it. And then he went right back into his deal and did his thing, and within a matter of 3 minutes, he's gone. I'll tell you a story. This is a good story. I did Uber in Portland. I did almost 1,000 rides in Uber. Every single one person that got into my car, I showed them respect. I showed them love and courtesy. Whether they were damaging my vehicle, whether they had mean things to say, whether they got into my vehicle and did things that they shouldn't have done.
Right.
And I'm not judging, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I didn't say a word. I let people do what they do. And I
guess.
spoke with them. There was this guy. I picked him up from the, I think it was from the airport. He and his family, and he had little ones that were even in the car seats. So they had to put the car seat in the car and whatever, got out, helped him do it. And this is Portland. I don't know if you've ever been to Portland.
I've been there a lot.
Portland, Oregon. A lot of bridges. You take the wrong bridge,
And you're gone.
and you're pissing off your customers, bro, because that now your time, it might take 30 minutes to get around the next loop. Very stressful. And I didn't know all the roads that well, so I followed GPS a lot. And I was in my own struggles with my own personal life that I was dealing, the family that I was with, and it wasn't easy. And I was dealing with that while I was dealing with the people. And so this guy gets in my car with his family, beautiful family. And he's a fireman. He's a big guy. I swear to God, like 6'5", 250 pounds, just a really good, muscular, strong dude. Mm-hmm. Beautiful family. And as we're going down and going downtown, wherever his hotel was, we start turning and he starts questioning the turns. And he's calling me out on it. And I said, well, what do you want me to do? I said, you can see right here, this is my GPS. I have to follow this. This is the Uber app.
Right.
So I go where Uber tells me to go.
Right.
Well, he didn't like it. And I said, well, if you want to change it, then you can change it, but just know it's on you and your time frame that you're on.
Right.
I don't want to take that from you, but if you're going to do that, I'm going to turn mine off, and you can turn yours on, and you can guide me, and I'll follow your path. Well, what had happened was, he said, that's fine, that's what I want to do. So as we get downtown, and if you've been downtown Portland, there's constantly people out there. There's a lot of people on the streets. Mm-hmm. Beautiful people, man. I fell in love. I mean, I'm telling you, you want to talk about falling in love with people. People. Their lives. Their struggle. I fell in love with it, bro. In a way that I can't even truly put into words and explain how much I fell in love. We come to this stoplight downtown, and all of a sudden there's a police officer that's parked with his lights on in the middle of the intersection, so nobody can go any way.
Yeah.
He's getting upset. What's going on? What? And I said, I have no idea. And he's getting mad at me. Obviously, I'm the driver, so he's getting frustrated. And I said, look, man, this is what you wanted to do. I'm following you, and I respect it. Yeah. So if you want me to turn my Uber app back on, then I'll do that, and we'll follow my. He says, no, I'm going to do it. So he leads me downtown by his GPS. We'll kind of find out what we don't know is there's a riot. People come down from Washington State. You want to talk about the perfect timing of God. They come down from Washington State. They're liberals, okay? They're people with free minds.
Right.
And they like to stir stuff up is what people talk about.
Yeah.
So they created a protest that got super violent. And I'm telling you, this guy, next couple of pass, next street, we're like, I'm telling you, there are so many freaking people. And I'm talking flashbangs going off, 500 officers, suited up, riot gear. Dude, I've never seen anything like it. And I'm in the heart of it. Like, we are in the heart. And this guy's freaking out with his wife. Freaking out. What are we going to do? And I'm just telling him, I'm like, dude, just be calm. And anyways, at that time, where I was in my journey for myself, my spiritual journey.
Good.
You okay?
Yes.
Okay. I'll make this quick then. Because this is part of the mission of leading. But this riot's going on. And I'm telling this guy, like, he won't listen to me. I'm trying to tell him everything's going to be okay. He does. I know who I am. I didn't explain it. I didn't say it to them.
Right.
But I went into prayer. And I'm sitting in my car. And I just close my eyes. And I just say this prayer. And my prayers are very powerful. They're the most powerful of all. I promise you. The things that I am able to do and what takes place. And I get done with my prayer, and this guy's freaking out, and he gets his wife, and so then they're feeding off each other, and the intensity's going on, and there's people, I mean, dude, literally, the car is surrounded. You can't see, there's so many people. And I looked at him, and I said, just be calm, everything's going to be okay. And within 1 minute, bro, he's freaking out. Doors are open on the car. He's got people in the crowd screaming at his family. What are you doing? I popped my trunk. He wants to get everything out. And that's what they did, bro. They got out of the car. Everybody's screaming. They like stopped their protests that were around, and they're saying, "What are you doing?" And I'm telling them, I'm like, "Dude, it's his right. He can choose to get out anytime he wants to get out, you know?" Well, anyways, here's the story. They get out. They're gone. Within a matter of seconds, I can't see them. I get all their stuff out. They're gone in the crowd. I can't even, right? So I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, I'm hearing flashbangs. I'm watching the police, and I'm watching fights go on and blood. And within 3 minutes, that whole thing shifted all the way to the next block. and everything was open. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you want to talk about the power of God. Number one, everything was okay. We weren't damaged. We weren't hurt. I was right where I needed to be. I have to thank him because he directed me to where I needed to be. Do you see?
Yeah.
I that's all I can say. Whether it was an experience like it was something I'd never felt. I went through emotions. It was you ever been around a crowd like that? My God, man.
Anxiety automatically kicks
Oh my
in.
God.
Yeah.
But so then that leads to my mission with my wife, and I'm at Bidwell in Chico. I leave Oroville and I get on a bus and I take the bus out. Some generous lady had given $4. I had come out of the bathroom. I had to walk almost, I don't know, it was probably over a half a mile just to go use a bathroom, which was really hard to do because the homeless people, they were destroying things.
Yeah.
All right, so the city would lock it up. Then people wouldn't have a place to go to the bathroom. Well, that's a problem.
Yeah. That's kind of like here.
And it also causes people to get angry. And then when they're locked out of whatever, and I know there's people, you put a brand new toilet roll in there, dude, that toilet roll is going to be gone in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
They cut it right in half and take it off, and and is it good for the next person? No, but I don't know what they needed it for. Maybe they needed that roll of toilet paper. Maybe they had to wipe the tears that they're crying every night.
Right.
So I go to Chico and I get off the bus, and I was telling you this story. We're in this complex. I'm in this complex, and there's a bunch of people around. There's homeless people, but there's also other people that are like, there's people singing Christian songs. And I walk over to this section, and the sun is just beautiful. It's a blue sky, and I'm standing there, and I just look at the sun, and I just become one with Mother Gaia.
Okay.
Okay. And this guy comes over, and he is just flabbergasted beyond. Like he said to me, he said, "You are the most angelic being I have ever seen. Are you an angel?" And I said, "Of course I'm an angel. Of course I'm an angel."
Right.
And that was my opening to finding this guy and getting into the mission and the work that I was doing. Before I met my wife, the place that I was at was really bad. A lot of gangs met at this place. A lot of this is the stories that I heard. I never really saw it. I did see the things in my camp that were really bad.
Okay.
Whether fighting, people setting me up, literally setting me up to be hurt.
Yeah. I remember you telling me about that last
And
time.
and my intuition, my feelings told me that it was taking place. I knew what was happening, and I still allowed it to continue.
Right.
I stayed in. I didn't bail. I let things handle how they needed to handle. One specific guy in this park was really bad. Was not good. I send love to him. If he's a spawn of Satan, a spawn of darkness, whatever you want to call it, his intentions weren't good for me.
Right.
It took time, but he finally bounced. He left. His comment to me was, he had showed me some pictures, and I don't know if you want me to talk about this stuff or not on this.
We got 3 more minutes.
Okay, well, let's just get to it. So, whatever took place. This is what I'm saying, man. The story is so, I have to tell it every piece. I don't want to miss anything.
Right.
Because it's not fair to you, and it's not fair to the others.
Right. And
I lived it, and people want to know it, but it takes time for me to explain it.
Yeah.
Because my mind's very powerful, and I have a great memory. And I did my work. This guy bounced. He left. All of a sudden, it was like the darkness went from this park and the light opened up, you started seeing families like I couldn't believe showing up.
Wow.
And then lo and behold, here's my wife. She walks in, comes right in, literally walks into the camp. She's bringing hand warmers to the people. It's in the wintertime.
Thousands.
And I'm going to tell you, man, it was like I was at a point where I was just about to bounce.
Okay.
Like literally, like I had thought my mission's done. I did what I needed to do here, but that wasn't it. It was to run into my wife.
Right.
And we met, and the moment we met, we were doing work together from the first moment we met, literally.
Instant.
She come into my camp.
That's a
There
great
was
thing.
people in my camp that I was helping. That's the great thing that I can say is the guy that I said was really rough and wanting to hurt me, he was bringing people to me.
That's awesome.
And I can't tell you how many tears that I shared with these people, men, women, groups, that was so powerful. I know it humbled people and brought them to their core.
But that's why I wanted this story, because just hearing this little part, I know we're not done, but we may have to come back. I am running short on time.
Okay.
But because we do have this casting call today.
Yeah, no.
But
Sorry.
this story, no need to be sorry, because like I said, the story, the way you tell it, the things that came out of it, even though we didn't get all the way through it, that's the part, like you said, the story, whether someone's mad at you or not. I saw people last night as we were talking starting to hover around. I think I pointed out to you, like,
Yeah.
hey, you have a crowd.
Of course.
And it's not because I'm trying to show you, it's that energy brings energy, love brings love, and people, no matter what they say, no matter how angry they are, let's just agree that everybody needs love. Everybody's looking for love. Everybody wants to be held. Everybody wants to be told it's okay. I'm blessed because I have people around me that no matter what I'm going through, Cap is the most, let me just be real, the most motivating, positive person I've met in a long time.
Love you, brother.
And
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah.
no matter what I'm going through, he'd be like, bro, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
You
We got
guys
it.
have showed nothing but respect and courtesy, and that's part of the reason my wife and I we chose to come and do this, regardless of the outcome and what one's intentions are. I can look at people a
Yeah.
lot, and I can read the intentions of what's taking place.
My intention was to tell the story. And just based off the live, and I think based on what we're going to get feedback on this, like I said, I wanted this story to touch one person, to touch two people. Because I know it's people out there that, like you said, when you talk, nobody talks about God the way I hear you do. Nobody talks about your mission the way I hear you do. And I'm talking like, I've interviewed pastors who's never mentioned God or Jesus as much
Of course.
because they want to be politically correct. Well, my show's not that show for that. I want to know. I want people to know. I want them to follow the route, because it's people out there that are looking for doors and looking for answers.
Well, and I can speak to this, is that when I say everyone is to be a messenger, it takes more than just us running this message.
Yes.
And we need it and we want it. And over 300,000 miles now, brother, that we have been out and with the people and making ourselves available. And we do come in love, we do come in peace. And I say we are always at the right place, right time, every time. And hopefully people who are listening and people that they share it with can say, oh my God, I saw that truck and trailer. Oh my God,
I'm pretty
that
sure.
was Jesus Christ, what? And then I don't want people to be sad that they missed their opportunity,
Right.
because we are here and our spirits are always available 24/7. But in flesh, we're here.
Look, bro, before I knew who I was, I had a life before I knew I was Jesus. And when I learned about Jesus Christ, I fell in love beyond anything that I have ever. I mean, it's a love that I've never felt with anybody on this earth
Right.
plane, including my wife. It was a deepness of love that I fell in love with Jesus Christ so greatly that I couldn't believe. I just couldn't fathom, like, how did you do this back then
Right.
when it was me the whole time?
Right.
Whether you believe or not, it's a lot to swallow. I understand. There's a lot of betrayal, there's a lot of deceit, there's a lot of conspiracies, there's a lot of whatever that's out there in the world. But it doesn't matter. I'm right in front of you. You don't see bullshit in my eyes
At all.
Okay.
Right.
I've said that to many people when they're like, and I'll tell them who I am, and then they'll ask again, well, what was your name? As if they didn't hear it, and maybe they didn't. So I say it again. Well, how many times do I need to say it? How many times?
Not at all.
Well, there comes a point where I won't say it anymore because you're not hearing, and it's not just hearing, but you got to listen.
Yep.
Right? And I just, if there's anything I can say to the world, to humanity, and that's
you got
not
him right here.
I know, I hear you. Is that my wife and I come in peace and love and light. I have chosen myself through my traumas and my PTS that I suffer from
Right.
greatly. I have had to do a lot of forgiving within myself, forgiving others, and then maybe not even understanding why things happen the way they happen. But like I said, even those things and people of the past, I do believe there will come a time in each of our lives individually. We got shut down?
No, we're about to wrap up.
That
That's
we
what
will
he said.
really will thank the people that were in our lives, even the ones that caused the heart shattering or whatnot.
And I agree with that. So guys, I just want to say thank you so much for coming out.
We love
I
you.
really do
Love you,
appreciate
brother.
it. Love you.
Love
too.
you all. Thank
you for the story. We thank you for everything
Thanks for
that
your
you
time.
shared. Guys, I hope that someone out there was able to grab something from this. That was my whole purpose. I know that we run around and me and my team, we're all about business, but sometimes it's the feel-good stories that keep us going forward because we do a lot of help. We give a lot. And honestly, we give a lot, and we never really run into the people that want to give back, that want to give. So when I heard you guys' story, I text him it was at 12 midnight. I texted him last night, like, hey, call me when you get up. I got an interview. He called me at 8. I said, hey, I'm up right now. Let's get dressed. That's when I called you guys. Like, hey, can you be at the studio by 10:30, 11? Because we just wanted to get set up and get comfortable and make sure we had it together.
Yes, sir.
But I appreciate you guys coming out. For
Thank
everybody out there, this is Real Talk with Jayson Dixon on NWCLB.FM. I hope you guys enjoy the show. To everybody on my TikTok, I thank you guys.
Much love to you and your families.
And I much love. And God bless you all.
Thank you.
You guys have a great evening.
Peace.